Hey guys, Donnie Conway Outdoors. Welcome to this episode of Donnie Conway Outdoors, and we got a special treat we're doing here. We're fixing to get ready to roll to Mr. Bill Cooper's house, and we're going to do a podcast with him called Living the Dream Outdoors podcast with Bill Cooper. Now Bill's been inducted in the Legends of the Outdoors National Hall of Fame. As you can see, my insignia here, logo. But he's also numerous communication awards, and I believe he's in the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame. And he's a big turkey hunter, deer hunter, and loves trout fishing and other kinds of fishing. But we're going to be probably talking about turkey hunting, trout fishing, and then touch a little base on Legends of the Outdoors. So stay tuned to this episode, and we'll see how things go and what Bill has in store for us, and we'll go from there. But we're supposed to meet up here about 10 o'clock. I think it's about 8:45, so we'll be rolling out of here shortly and headed that way and have some coffee and donuts and talk and chat a little bit about hunting and fishing on podcast. Talk at you later. Bye.
Welcome to Living the Dream Outdoor Podcast. I'm your host, Bill Cooper, and I'm delighted to say I've got an old friend on the program with me today, and he's a board member of the Legends of the Outdoors National Hall of Fame. Donnie Conway, it's good to have you on the program today.
Good to be here, Bill. I appreciate your invite.
Hey, it's always fun to hook up with another good outdoorsman, you know.
That's always a lot of fun because, as you said in our last one with Gary Mason, we all melt together because we believe in Jesus Christ and we love the outdoors.
Absolutely, that's a good combination.
It is.
I've always said, you know, that I have difficulty separating my religious beliefs from the outdoors because we're all big believers in the creation.
Oh yeah.
And boy, are we in a wonderful part of the country to be able to enjoy it.
Oh, the best place in the world.
Oh, I think so too. It's a little piece of heaven, you know. I've been in this area, gosh, since about 1973. It's 27, 25. That's about 52 years.
Yeah.
I guess you could call me a local then.
Yeah. I guess you're beyond that point.
Yeah. And you've been around the St. James area and the Cuba area, Merrimack Spring Park, all this country for most of your life.
Yeah, many years.
Wow. I just can't imagine. You got a real head start on me. See, I was 21, 22 years old before I landed in this part of the country. I come from the Missouri Boot Heel, and I used to dream about being able to live in this part of the country. I'd never been here, but I'd heard stories. I used to have an uncle out of Illinois that used to travel to Montauk and trout fish. he talked about being able to see fish in clear water.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that. Down the Boot Hills, all muddy water,
Yeah.
Lived
Yeah.
close to Mississippi River, the bayous, ponds, everything was just chocolate. So I thought he was telling tales there for a while. only time I could ever see fish in the water was early springtime. We did a lot of gigging.
Yeah.
Carp and buffalo and gar and that kind of stuff. The only way you saw them was when you was spawning, they'd roll on top, and you were actually gigging at the roll,
Yeah.
And a lot of times wasn't sure what you was gigging, but it was always carp and buffalo and that sort of thing. But boy, am I ever tickled pink to be in your part of the world now, Donnie, and I know you've spent a lot of time at Merrimack Spring Park, and man, you really became a local legend out there over the last 2 or 3 years. You've taught so many people to trout fish and how to trout fish effectively. There's a difference,
Yeah.
When anybody can just toss a lure or bait into the water, but trying to figure things out. And I think you've probably saved hundreds, if not thousands, of people light years on that learning curve.
Yeah.
What got you started doing that?
I started back in mid-late 70s. I was friends with Carrie Feeler and Lisa Feeler and Scott Feeler.
Oh yeah,
Their dad was a maintenance supervisor, I believe.
Warren Feeder.
Yeah, Warren Feeler.
Yeah, he was there just.
Well, he was my Boy Scout leader and Cub Scout leader. So
Really?
I spent weekends out there.
Oh.
Kind of where I got my idea of wanting to start to learn trout. My daddy, my grandpa didn't do it. All they did was catfishing and bass fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever bit the hook.
Yep.
And trout fishing was a different type of fishing that they didn't want to learn or attempt.
Yeah.
But I wanted to learn, so I had to teach myself.
Yeah.
And I learned from old timers, and on my
Yeah.
own.
Well, your dad might have been like mine. Now, my dad was one of the 2 best fishermen in Mississippi County, but I hated to fish with my dad because he wouldn't teach you anything.
Yeah.
If you learned, it was through observation.
Yeah.
A lot of the old timers were like that.
One time I out fished, my dad and my grandpa was up the lake the other fishing on one of the sloughs. They called them sloughs back then.
Right.
I think it was the Glaze area right there.
Yeah.
And I ended up catching a mess of bass off in a little small creek area, and caught them all on a couple of night crawlers. I just took with me and took off. I come back with this stringer full of bass, and my dad, they didn't even get a bite. He said, "Well, boy," I said, "you caught them. You need to learn to clean them now."
Uh-oh. Kind of comes with the territory. Well, I never had any problem with that because we ate a lot of fish and ate a lot of wild game down the Boot Hills, and Dottie, I know you're several years younger than me, but I'm sure you'd agree with me. As kids growing up, hunting and fishing, that sort of thing, it was just second nature. It was kind of in our world, it was kind of a rite of passage, I remember when I got to start going coon hunting with my dad and his old friends, and their coon dogs, and man, it was so cool to get to go out with the adults, but it's kind of like, you follow us, just be quiet, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Another observation thing. But I can remember thinking how cool it was getting to go with the big guys,
Yeah.
And then started hunting and fishing some on my own. And I can remember how proud my father was of me when I brought meat home to put on the table.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a necessity, but sure never ever dreamed that I'd ever hear the term anti-hunter.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Never heard it when I was growing up.
No, you've never heard of anything like that. And of course, both of us have been devoted to the outdoors as well, and we both have worked hard in the outdoors to help promote it and to get people into the outdoors to hunt, fish, camp, whatever. And now here, you're sitting on the board of one of the most prestigious organizations in the outdoor world, the Legends of the Outdoors National Hall of Fame, with Mr. Gary Mason, the founder there. And Donnie, I just got to quiz you a little bit. I've been around you enough. I watched you. It didn't swell your head. I was there. I was there. In fact, we were doing a podcast when Gary Mason asked you to be on the national board.
I was pretty humble.
Well, I think it's the only time I ever saw you speechless.
Yeah.
That was quite an honor. But What are your responsibilities on that board?
Well, I don't really know yet. He
Yeah.
hasn't really come up with a lot of things for me to do. You know, I helped out with the banquet,
Oh, yeah.
and he's told me, he said, you know, if you have anybody that would, you know, you think should be in the Hall of Fame,
Right.
because there's like a 25 people back up on a waiting list.
Oh, I'm sure.
And he said, so it's like a 2-year
Process.
process.
Yeah.
But he said, you know, just let me know, find out biography on them, and get a lot of information on them, and then let me go through it, and then we make our decisions from there.
Absolutely. But I've watched you and I've seen you help organize several events for the Legend of the Outdoors National Hall of Fame. And just prior to us starting to record, you mentioned an event that's coming up down at Taneycomo.
Yes,
Now, you've done a lot of work on that event.
I have.
Tell us about that.
Well, I asked Gary, let's see, right after the banquet, after your induction, I said, hey, be interested in doing a TV show in Lake Taneycomo, Branson, Hollister area. He said, sure, set it up. So I went down in September, did a little fly fishing, and I ended up at the lodge I stay at, Trout Hollow Lodge. I got to talking to him about it, and he said, sure. He said, I'll do it. And so I ended up reserving 6 different lakefront condominiums for us. And I got us a meal set up with a couple different restaurants. One guy owns a barbecue place on the north side of Branson. A big outdoorsman. He jumped right on.
And what's the name of that? Barbecue.
Big D's.
Big D's in Branson.
And the guy's name is Dana Peterson.
Dana Peterson.
And everybody's told me that's awesome food. He's been there for 10, 15 years now.
Wow. Well, if you've been that long in Branson, you got to be putting out a lot of good food because lots of competition in
Yeah,
Branson.
exactly. So yeah, he's. I'm on his Facebook page, and he's always showing pictures of new stuff he's putting on there. Like, man, that looks good.
You haven't volunteered to be a taster, huh?
No, not yet.
I'd be working on that too. Because fishermen are always hungry, you know.
Oh yeah.
So, where's this event going to be held?
We'll be lodging at Trout Hollow Lodge on the Hollister side.
Yeah.
And the owner, Trout Hollow, he caters to veterans, does a lot of things
Awesome.
for veterans. He calls that the quiet side.
Yeah.
Branson's the
The noisy side.
The noisy side.
There's more partying going on over there. I hear you.
But beautiful little lodge he's got. Him and his wife are originally from Illinois, and they came down and bought it, and got numerous boat dock, huge boat dock. A lot of trout right there, big trout caught off of the dock.
Oh, yeah. Anywhere down through there, you're going to catch fish. I said, the Department of Conservation does a superb job. I don't want to let throw something like 800,000 or 900,000
Well, you
trout.
know, they just opened their new facility there at the hatchery.
Oh, yeah, big renovation took place there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think even didn't they kind of redo the visitor center
Yeah,
as well?
yeah.
Yeah, and there was a great show in there anyway.
Yeah.
Great facility to visit, so yeah, I'll have to get by there and see that again. Catch up on the new stuff.
It looked nice in the pictures. I you know, when I went down there September to start setting things up, then I went again on Thanksgiving. They were pretty much done with it Thanksgiving, but it's really nice facility they got.
But we'll have to check it out. Well, you've got to put a program like this together. You got to have some sponsors too. Who's helping out?
Well, we got Trout Hollow Lodge.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Gilberti's is an Italian restaurant right across the street. And they got the best chicken fajita you ever had.
Well, you're planning on us all gaining
Or
weight,
not,
aren't you?
or fettuccine.
Fettuccine, yeah.
Chicken fettuccine. Oh, it's to die for.
Oh,
Every time I go there, I gotta have at least one meal of it.
yeah.
And then Big D's, Mr. Dana Peterson owns that. barbecue place. And he's got a mixture of foods. And this guy's a big outdoorsman. He told me he's hunted all over the world, fished all over the world.
Wow.
So he'll fit right in.
Oh, yeah. I look forward to talking to him. I always like to talk to those guys that have a lot of experience.
Well, and I told Gary, I said, he just came back from Africa elephant hunting about 2
Wow.
months ago.
Wow. He does get around then.
And I just seen where he posted, he got a bunch of his previous African trophies back.
Yeah. Wow.
So it takes like a year to get them.
Oh, yeah, long time. I've got a couple of mounts from Mexico, and it took a year to get those back or more. Then we go through all the process. But I know you've got some personal sponsors too, rod sponsors, that sort of thing.
Well, I got my custom rod builder. He's the one that started Hooked on Vets. And he ended up switching to a different rod blank from the previous one that we were using. And I helped him kind of design what I wanted.
Right.
And but he does it for other people. And then the guy that makes the lures, a lot of lures, he does the burning of the cork if you want it done for personalized purpose.
Right.
But I just do the chocolate cork
Yeah.
because it kind of looks neat with the rod and
Right.
type of rib. But I picked a fly rod. I hadn't done it 20 years. I started.
I noticed you've been
4
fly fishing some.
4 months ago. I'd been saying for 2 years that I wanted to get back into it. Because back then I just didn't have the time to enjoy it.
Right.
I was always in a rush.
Yep.
So I'd get into the park, catch one, and then get out and go do what I had to do.
Yeah.
And so I spin cast, I could do that.
Right.
And so I ended up selling all the fly fishing equipment I had. So here about 4 months ago, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. Everybody kept saying, so I went and bought my first rod, a little 2-3 weight out at Charlie's at Readings.
Oh yeah, down in Lebanon.
I call him the fly fishing guru.
Oh, he is. Charlie knows all about it.
Anyway, so the last 4 months I've been investing, and I just got addicted to it because I was catching fish right off the bat.
I could have warned you about that.
Yeah, I know. I haven't even picked up a.
Well, I noticed I follow you a bit on Facebook. And you're posting everything, and I hear you talking about mock flies.
Yes.
A lot of people may not know what a mock fly is, but I tied these up. Here's 2 boxes. Going to be on the auction at the Conservation Federation
Oh, okay.
annual convention this year.
This one right here is my favorite.
Orange is a killer. It may be glued to the bottom. I just tied these up a couple of weeks ago. But these mock flies, what I do, now you can buy these online or different fly shops.
But you can't get the orange. I've never been able to find them.
Oh, I can fix you up.
Can you?
Yeah, I tie these things up myself. Now you can go to the fly shop and pay $2.50 a piece for them. I buy these gloves, the auto gloves that you clean your.
Yeah.
And there's like 10,000 of those little
Oh, so that's
fingers.
what you do these with.
Yeah, I'll give you some before you leave, fix you up. And then tie those up on various sides of the hook, and I like to put a bead head on front of them. And notice some of them got a little chenille or fuzzy stuff on the front of them. Makes them look even more like a larva. Absolutely deadly bait. But orange?
I should have brought a couple. I got a buddy that I've been fly fishing with down there.
Yeah.
And he ties my orange ones for me.
Ah.
And he does a great job.
Oh,
and for
yeah.
some reason, the trap just tear them up.
They do. I don't know what they think they are. Maybe a crayfish. Pink is good, tan is
Yeah, I
good.
caught them pink.
And sometimes I put a little copper wire on them to weight them a little bit more, get down quicker, so you tie them all kinds of ways. But if you're a beginning trout fisherman, good thing to start with. But another real popular bait, Donnie, I don't know if you've used them. Some of them are called San Juan worms.
Yeah. I got him to tie me some of them too.
Yeah, gobs of them. Some of them are made out of cloth. The Cerisi worms are made out of plastics, and they tend to fall apart. I like the cloth ones a lot better. But I was shocked.
One day when I was at Tanacoma, I bought some material. They didn't have the mock fly material for this guy that ties my mock fly.
Yeah.
And so I bought him a little bit of material. to make me a couple San Juans.
Yeah.
So he made me one in gray and he made me one in orange.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy by the name of Jeremy Patterson I fish with once in a while. J&J Fly Fishing out of Kansas City. That guy goes somewhere to fly fish every weekend. But I took him over to Westover Farms, give him another fly fishing day. A few months ago, and we stayed a couple of days, and the water was high and murky. And now see how thin that
I bet they
worm
tearing
is?
it up, though.
Well, he had one that was even thinner and half the size of that, a tiny little thing, and they were just tearing it up. Real education for me. But people getting into fly fishing knew, let's think, oh my gosh, it's just so difficult, don't know where to start and that sort of
Well,
thing.
it can be, I've been listening to it's called Ventures Fly Company.
Yep.
They have a YouTube channel,
Yep.
and all they do is fly fish.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube and educate yourself in a
Well-
hurry. But in general, if you're just starting, get yourself a 9-foot 5-weight fly rod,
Yeah.
with a 5-weight reel. Now that's got a big spool on it, but that's a 5-weight. I sometimes
Nice reel.
Yeah, nice reel. Here's a Sage reel, a 4-weight that I sometimes when I'm really want to be adventurous.
Like 4 weights.
Yeah, 4-weights are awesome, but don't forget the scuds too. These are a
Oh yeah,
freshwater shrimp that.
and you can get tiny on them things.
Oh, you can go teeny tiny, all kinds of colors.
28.
Yeah, I can hardly see
It's like,
those.
dang, I can hardly thread that. I can only thread
Well, I
22.
have to put the cheater glasses on over my glasses. I know all about it, but all these things produced, and hey, woolly boogers. I've used a lot of them over the years for trout
I've
fishing.
never tried a woolly bugger.
Wow, all kinds of colors. Well, if you get any, olives are the best. But there's some days they're hitting that orange,
Yeah, you strip them
black.
out?
Yeah,
Are you?
yep, just flip them out.
Like a little streamer?
Yep, flip them out there. But Donnie, I've probably got 10,000 flies, and I'm sure you're building a
Oh, I am.
collection yourself. But here's some of my favorites. A friend of mine, Ron Kruger, tied for me before he passed away. Now he lived with me about 18 months and fished a season out at Merrimack Spring. These black gnats he
Man,
tied.
I heard
Now
that.
he tied them down to number 28. That's about an 18 there.
That's tiny.
But he'd sit down at the rock hole, he'd sit there, he'd catch 125, 150 fish a day. But even in the wintertime, one thing fly fishermen need to remember that the largest part of the feed takes place still within probably 8 or 10 inches of the surface, because there's that film where a lot of insects float in,
Yeah.
right on the
That
surface.
midge
But-
hatch.
Yeah,
Get caught in
absolutely.
that film.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that bugs are just for the summertime, but if you watch and you go to
Temperatures
these,
get 50, the midges start.
they're coming off like
Yeah.
crazy. And I use a lot of cream-colored midges, tiny things in the wintertime as well. But gosh, real keepsake, and I've got to show you this. You're gonna get a kick out of this one, Donnie Conway. This is called a Tornado Woolly. And I'm not even fishing this because it's the last one I got that Ron Kruger made.
Wow.
And that thing, he made them bigger and fish for smallmouth, and you strip that through the water, it would actually twist in the water.
Wow.
And then you lift it out, of course, it unfurls. But a wild looking thing. I don't know if it,
That could almost imitate a stonefly too,
yeah,
in a way.
or maybe a locust in the summertime.
yeah,
I don't know, but they work. Well, we could talk, boy, trout fishing, fly fishing until we
Yeah.
fell over dead, I guess. But we need to take just a short break here, but don't go away. We'll be right back with more of Living the Dream Outdoor podcast. Welcome back to Living the Dream Outdoor podcast. I hope you enjoyed that first segment. Donnie Conway, longtime friend, longtime outdoorsman. I keep teasing him. I know he's not near as old as me, but I'm ancient. Grandkids say older than dirt, You're getting into that category, aren't you?
Close to Civil War time, I think.
Oh boy, not quite that old. But hey, we talked a lot of trout fishing in the beginning, in that first segment, Donnie, and of course we could talk about that kind of stuff till we
all
fell
day
over
long.
dead. You've been fishing the winter fishing program out at Merrimack Spring Park.
Yes.
That's one of 4 of the trout parks, and of course I guess everybody's aware that Montauk is shut down.
Yeah.
The last tremendous
That's
flood
a
we had
sad
really
deal.
tore them up down there, but you can't go down below the park, the Current River.
Okay.
I understand they're catching lots of fish. Of course, you got to wade through all the little bitty guys that
Yeah.
escaped the hatcheries
Yeah.
too. But still lots of fish
That's-
to be caught. But the winter catch and release trout programs in the state trout parks will end February 10th.
Yeah.
That's been a long season though. It starts back in November, the regular trout season ends end of October.
Well, see, most normally, before the flood, they would release like 500 at one time, 1,000 at one time, another 1,000 another time. But since the flood, all of them went into the stream anyway. so
Been
they're-
lots of fish.
And they've lost so many fish.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but those floods are just, wow,
And-
keep getting
and-
bigger and bigger, it seems.
And, well, and we want people to understand that it's gonna be a rough couple years. of
Oh, I would
fishing,
imagine trying to,
Because it's gonna take a couple years to recuperate from
oh,
this.
it really will after losing that many fish. But again, keep in mind those fish are in these spring branches, and a lot of them have gone down to the rivers. Been some great fishing in the Current River,
Yeah.
great fishing in the Merrimack River as well, and still fish there to be caught. And I don't know. A lot of people are fair weather fishermen, but I love to go down in some of the nastiest weather we
I
get.
do. If I'm not slipping and falling.
Yeah, yeah, you've had a couple of mishaps. I'm so careful anymore. I move a lot slower than I used to be. I carry a wading staff an awful lot to get me up and down the banks. I don't bounce and roll near as well as I used to.
No, I don't either.
But I still get out there. But the great trout fishing, particularly in the river, occurs on dark, cloudy, overcast days.
Yeah.
And some of my best trips of my life have been wind blowing, sleet and snowing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That really reduces the competition too.
Well, they got more oxygen in the water
For
during
sure.
that time.
Yeah,
So it makes them more active too. So.
it really does. But of course, we're talking about brown trout. They don't like the strong light, so if the sun's out bright, they're going to run and hide under
Yeah.
the undercut
Shadows
banks.
and-
Yeah, everything they can. But anyway, well, Donnie, again, I guess you're going to be out at Merrimack Spring Park a lot this year to
I will.
hopefully help people catch fish.
Hopefully
I've
can.
seen, I've heard a lot of word and watched you.
Hopefully I'm
coach people.
introducing more people into fly fishing now that I'm getting.
There you go.
So-
Yeah, people always need. I've watched people like fly fishing at particularly at Merrimack.
It can be intimidating to people too.
It can be, but the most common problem I see, and I'm sure you see it too, is just that simple rhythm
Yeah.
of working that fly rod from 10 to 2.
And I'm still learning and teaching.
Oh, I always do. I get sloppy once in a while, but that's the biggest problem I see with people's having trouble casting. If they'll just go back to the basics, let that rod do its work,
Yeah.
it makes it a whole lot easier.
It does.
And of course, if you're going to stay in fly fishing, it's wise too to invest a little more money and a little bit better rods.
It is.
Particularly for us old guys, it makes the job so much
Yeah.
easier.
Well, I had a few people say, "Oh man, you're investing a lot of money in that equipment you got." I said, "Yeah, but I decided I was going to get back into it. I wanted to get quality stuff."
Right. But you don't have to invest a lot of money
No.
to get started. You can go to Walmart or wherever and buy,
A beginner stuff is.
exactly for, I don't know, $75 or so,
Yeah.
probably.
I always
Yeah.
tell everybody, if you get out of it, invest 150, 200 and get it. for
Yeah.
1,000
Yeah.
For learning. But I mean, if you don't know if you like it or not, then start with the cheaper model.
Exactly. Or, hey, go with somebody that's got a lot of equipment and use theirs. And particularly before you're gonna go drop $1,000 on one of those
Yeah,
cordless
yeah.
rods or something. Try somebody else's,
Yeah, exactly.
Before you go spend that kind of money.
Exactly.
But you can drop a lot of money on it. Well, Donnie, another subject that's near and dear to your heart and mine too. And we're looking forward to it. People start to talk about it already.
Oh.
Spring turkey season.
Spring turkey season.
You don't
My
like
favorite
turkey?
time.
Absolutely. And there's nothing like being
Yeah.
out on Ozark Ridge and
And a close acquaintance of ours, and actually he's my cousin, Ray I, is my mentor in turkey hunting.
Really, Ray has mentored a lot of people in turkey hunting. In fact, you probably remember I was inducted in National Hall of Fame Outdoors Hall of Fame last August. Of course, Ray I was there, and I recognize Ray because he's made a great contribution to my career
Yeah.
over the last many decades. Been in a lot of camps with Ray Eye. And of course, Ray is one of the best turkey callers out there and won some of the first championships we had. And Ray's pretty critical of other folks, you know. I always tried to avoid calling around Ray. And he put me on the spot one time. He said, "Let me hear you call on that mouth call." And I'm not great on a mouth call. But I am living proof that there's a lot of dumb turkeys out there. And I've killed a lot of them, and I'm not a great caller.
Well, you know, that's how I started turkey calling competition years ago. Did it for about 6-7 years.
Yeah,
And
that's a hard road to hoe.
yeah, it is. Because I was going up against guys like Walter and
Oh,
Chris
Will
Parrish and,
Yeah,
you know, some of the big boys, Waddell,
yeah.
Chris Kirby, and one of the guys.
Yeah, but there's a million great callers out there. But back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, when all the calling contests got super popular, I got asked several times to judge contests, and I would never do it for one reason. I could pick Walter Parrott out of 300 callers. He had such a distinct call,
Yeah.
and he won all the major championships over the years.
Walter's a good old boy.
Oh yes, I still hear from him once in a while. He stayed in my home several times, and I
I haven't talked to him. Well, I'm friends with him on Instagram, but it's probably been 5 years. I asked Chuck when we was in Springfield, I said, "How's he doing?" He said, "He's doing pretty good." So
Yeah, it's been a while since I've talked to him personally on, you know, social media once in a while, but oh gosh, how long's it been? 25 years ago. I got him and Chuck Jones, Nightingale, those guys into a place over Bourbon, Missouri, about 7,000 acres. They filmed 3 TV shows in there.
I remember that.
Yeah, but it's so funny. We were out in the woods, my wife, Chuck, and Walter. It's just getting a little bit, not quite daylight, you know. They started owl hooting, owls all over. In fact, they called an owl right into us, right over top of us. Well, they finally got, there's 4 of us standing there talking and listening. They finally got the first turkey to gobble, and we all went 3 different directions. That's how good our hearing was. we better regroup.
That was in the old Pea Ridge Mines area.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Well, see, I was in St. James hunting, and I called Walter a couple times. I said,
Really?
"Hey, y'all getting turkeys yet?" He said, "No." He said, "We've been here and we ain't killed a bird yet." I said, "I done got mine, man."
Yeah. rub it in. Well, they whacked them before they left there because they shot 3 TV shows over. Been a long time ago, but boy,
I remember
what fun. But there are a lot of great turkey hunters and turkey callers. But I get in a group of guys from several different states. I always like to rub the salt in the wound, you know, because particularly when things started out, it seemed like most of the best turkey callers were from the state of Missouri.
That's right.
A lot of them come out of Missouri.
We got Stevie Thopes.
Oh yeah.
Chris Parrish, Walter.
Now some of the younger guys.
The old boy that lives here in Cuba. What was his name?
Yeah.
He won the Grand National.
He sure did.
We
Can you?
got Billy Argus,
Yeah.
another great caller.
Brad Harris was
Brad
good.
Harris. Yeah.
We got Ralph Duran. I don't think he ever competed in a contest, but
He did the gobbling contest.
did he? Yeah, that's right. He did win it. Wow.
And then Ray
Alex
and Alice.
Rutledge. Yeah, Goblin from here. But man, what
And
a
a
time.
lot of guys used to complain because a lot of them were all of them from Missouri. That
Oh
won.
yeah, yeah. Guys were good. That's all there was to it, you know. And of course, old Brad Harris, he'd been in the grunt call for deer, you know, just that little plastic
That's
tube.
when he was with Loman.
Yeah, long time ago. In fact, I still got a knife shortener from Loma that Brad sent me probably 40 years ago.
I got an old
Still my
box
pickup.
call, and then the old tube elk calls they made.
Yeah. Brad did some great things at Loma. Well, you got a box call sitting in front of me there.
That's a
Think
nice
you-
looking box call.
Oh yeah, Preston Pittman made that, and I bought that down at the Legends auction. Had to pay a pretty penny for it, but
That's
it's
nice.
got the Outdoor Legends Hall of Fame emblem on it, Preston's signature. And how about you play that for us?
Preston's a good one too.
Oh, absolutely. Just too bad he's from Mississippi. Oh boy, if If I could gobble, I'd gobble. Now, if I don't stir your blood up, you better check your pulse.
You know, I like a box call, and I used to do a mouth call a lot, but I had no boy. I like custom pot calls,
Oh, yeah,
especially slate.
yeah.
And I ran into an old boy. He lives down. He was living down around Orlando, Florida, and he was making stuff out of borrowed maple,
Wow.
and that was washed up on the shore.
Yeah, yeah.
And I asked him. I said, "Hey, you make me a couple calls." He goes, "Yeah," and he tuned them to the Osceola. Yeah.
Oh,
So, and I got numerous other handcrafted calls. A couple of them they're keepsakes that you never find anywhere else. So, that one call, I've killed. I've lost count. I've killed more birds than I've killed with any other call I've ever used. And I guess it's something. The Rios and the Easterns, that higher pitch
yep,
that the Osceola hand does,
yep.
just drives them nuts.
Well, it makes a difference, that frequency. You know, I like a good glass call because you get a high
Yeah.
frequency out of it, and I've killed a lot of turkeys with those over the years. But again, I'm not a great turkey caller, but I've killed 105, I think.
That's a lot of
over
birds.
years. A lot of birds over the years. But back there, you remember in the 80s and 90s when it seemed like there was a gopher behind every tree?
Man.
I got to thinking I was a really good turkey hunter, you know. Then it thinned out a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not quite as good as I used to be.
Yeah. It's tougher. Well, you know, I picked up some land up on north of St. James Hill, so last year I got into, I had 10 birds the day before season. And opening day I get up there and they've done dispersed, there's only 2 of them on the
But yeah,
property.
that happens too. But I'll tell you, when it comes to turkey hunting, again, it's kind of like, well, starting anything new in the outdoors. If you don't know what you're doing, today go to YouTube. I shouldn't even tell you this story because you'll rag me the rest of my life till the day I die. But you remember the old Lynch one-sided hen calls?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. When I first come to St. James in '73, I'd never been turkey hunting before. Woodson K. Woods was brand new. They didn't even have it signed yet, but working there close to the conservation department guys, they told me there's like 5,000 acres I can hunt. Probably go out there and not see anybody. So I went to the local Western Auto in St. James, bought a one-sided Lynch box call, and I didn't have any camel. Nobody had any camel back then hardly, but I still had my OD greens from the Army, so that's what I
That's what I
wore.
started with.
All right. I didn't go scout, didn't do anything, you know. Opening day of turkey season, I parked on the highway parking lot up there above Buck's Lodge,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I walked back there in the woods a couple hundred yards and stood there by an old black oak tree, and I pulled that Lynch box call out of my pocket. It's still in the box. I got my little flashlight. I'm reading the instructions of how to use this box call. It says, go yelp, 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 then set that thing down for 30 minutes. Don't call again for 30 minutes. Donnie, I'm telling the truth. I go, yep, yep, yep. And it didn't even sound that good. It was pretty scratchy. And I swear, a turkey gobble sounded like a half a mile away. Now I sat there, man, I was wanting to call again so bad, but the instructions said wait 30 minutes. So I'm watching my watch. And I waited to exactly 30 minutes. I go, yep, yep, yep. Turkey gobbles, man. I sat there all morning doing that. I didn't move and the turkey didn't move. We did that for 5 days.
Well, I'll tell you my first time. I learned off of Ray's videos and with some Kate Wood.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even remember how old I was. I wasn't too old. But my cousins, they ended up, they were really hounding me. They were like, you ought to try turkey hunting. I said, I don't know. I said, I ain't never done it. It's something I haven't learned. Because I, deer hunting I'd already taught myself. Because my daddy, my grandpa didn't turkey hunt or deer hunting either. So I had to teach myself. So I thought, well, I want to try it. So I ended up having a couple of Ray's videos, and one was box calls and mouth calls. And that's how I learned. Got out there that Sunday before opening day. This is back in, say about 81, 82. I think that's about when I started. And turkeys there.
Oh,
I could
yeah.
go across the river. And
There was lots of them.
I was at that top parking lot up there close to where the old canoe rental was.
Yep.
Pulled in there, heard them on both sides of the highway, and then I went down on the gravel road by the barn down there along the river bottom. Heard them on the other side of the ridge across the highway. I mean, there was 40, 50 of them on each side. Everywhere.
Yeah.
So the next morning I thought, this is where I'm gonna go. So I get at that top parking lot, and it rained all night. It quit raining just right before I got there. Pulled in the parking lot, and there were like 10 cars in there. Like, wow. That's kind of overwhelmed at that time. So it's starting to break day, and they're already out in the woods. And so I was it would be raining. So I hopped out of the vehicle, and as I'm getting my gun and my vest together, I hear one guy that wasn't even 75 yards to the parking lot. And I thought, I bet all 10 of these guys are set up on that one bird. So I slipped off down in there and got, probably within 60 yards of it. Got set down, started breaking daylight. And I hit that on my skull. Just some real soft yells. It wasn't even 10 minutes. That bird was right in front of me, 20 yards.
Boy, nothing more exciting
Oh
than that.
man, I shot that bird. And it's funny. I went back, showed my cousins. I said, "Heck, they ain't nothing to do this." He goes, "Yeah, wait till next week." Well, I learned how tough it gets.
Well, you sound like a buddy of mine one time at the fall season, and I took him out, and I knew right where birds roosted on this farm, scattered them out, 15 minutes after shooting light, he's got one flopping on the ground. He said, "Well, this ain't no fun, there's nothing to this." All right, he come back the next spring. In the opening morning, it was drizzling rain, you know what those boys
Yeah,
like, nothing
yeah.
gobbling, everything. I must have walked that boy 7 or 8 miles. Just call, nothing gobbled all morning. Wore him out when we got back to the truck. He caught on, he looked right at me, he was a little upset. He said, "Cooper, you did this to me just because of what I said last fall." I said, "Yeah, turkey hunting buddies will do that to each other." But what fun. Well, Donnie, I know you generally hunt in several states during the spring season. You got plans for this
I
year?
have, no, not this year. I mean, I'm getting at that age where I'm just,
I understand, slowing down a little bit.
yeah, I am.
Well, you know what we have to do as we get older, we have to really look for the dumbest birds out there.
I've done Tennessee, Arkansas, and Texas, Alabama, Kansas, and Missouri, and we're in Kentucky.
Yep, I've hunted
But,
most of those states.
I've never done my Grand Slam, and I've had a lot of guys ask me how come I haven't done it.
I haven't either, I just never really got too concerned about
Well, me either, and I can't see paying. Of course, now if you're going down to the Yucatan for the hunt of this bird,
that. Yeah, the oscillated, yeah.
that's probably well worth the money, but I couldn't never see paying $2,000 to kill an Osceola down in Florida.
I could.
Now, if somebody invited me, I'd do it.
Yeah, well, my Mexico trips for the last 15 years have been a media deal, so it's been a money maker for me, and done a lot of promotion for outfits down there. But I've never been to Florida for Osceola and the Ghouls.
The Gould, yeah.
Yeah,
I like to
I've
do
got along with
that.
those two. But
They're pretty birds.
oh, they're all
And if
beautiful
you
birds.
didn't know the difference between them and a Merriam, you'd almost think they're the same bird.
Right. Yeah, you're going more by geography than you
Yeah,
are the
yeah.
look to the bird, where they're located.
Beautiful bird.
Yep. Well, Donnie Conway, man, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the program. Hope you won't be a stranger. Keep us
Well,
updated.
we need to get together and do some fly fishing. I see you got some nice stuff here, buddy.
Oh, I got gobble fly fishing material.
and
It's just,
And I'm telling everybody, and this is not, it's up to you, but when I got back into it, I thought, I want a good product that's gonna last.
absolutely. Get the good stuff.
And I probably spent more money than I should have. But I'm gonna I'm gonna introduce you to something else while we're here.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of it's AI generated, and it's called the Proof Ball.
Not familiar with it.
You can buy it. I bought the ones I bought at Chuck that has Angler Outfitters there, Branson there by the dam.
Yeah.
I walked in there for Thanksgiving, and he had a box with us under. And he told me, he showed me the app, how it works in the app. You take your picture of your fish, and you want it good and flat, and you slip that, and the keychain is an orange ball, and it works kind of off. It's got like a chip in it, and it works kind of like a laser type deal, but it works on AI. It automatically measures the length, the girth, and tells you how much it weighs.
Well, I don't know if I'd like that. You know, fishermen are known for stretching the truth. How do you stretch that?
But check that here. I'll show you here after the podcast. It's a very neat deal.
It sounds like it, but again, wow, you know, because I've been an outdoor communicator for, 55 years. More than once, I've been accused of exaggerating. You've probably never been accused of that, have
you know, so you go, I caught one of them like that, but
yeah.
by the time you're done with it, it's about like that.
Oh yeah, I get a lot of ribbon too. My photographs, you know, long arm and nose fish. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. We all do. But that's what it's all about.
I told Gary about that, and I ended up getting the phone number to that company because I wanted to talk to him. He's been writing bass fishing and trout fishing tournaments by AI.
Now,
And he
there
said
it would be
work.
super handy.
Yeah, because it's a community now. They just updated where you can see other people's pictures.
Right.
And then you can become friends with all your friends that have that are
Exactly.
in that app.
Social media is incredible.
So his bass fishing teams are working great with them.
Absolutely.
And I told him, I said, shoot, you can get them on board with the Legend of the Outdoors and get them as a TV sponsor if you want to.
Well, that's the way it works, you know. Boy. Well, Donnie, once again, man, been a pleasure to have you on the program.
It's been a pleasure.
I hope you'll stay in contact and keep us
I will.
updated on what's going on at Merrimack Spring Park.
And we need to get together and do some fly fishing.
Hey, let's count on it.
Hopefully maybe do it.
That's the only New Year's resolution I made. Fish more.
Yeah.
So maybe
That's
you can
not
help me
bad
with that.
one. It's not a bad one.
Not at all. Well, folks, from Donnie Conway, myself, Bill
Yes.
Cooper,
Y'all
We're
have
li-
a good day.
we're living our outdoor dreams. We encourage you to get into the outdoors and live your outdoor dreams as well.
And take a kid with you.
Absolutely.